I just wanted to get on here and record something quick because this is something that I think about a lot, and it's just very frustrating to me. So basically, what I want to rant about is about learning how to learn. I am very interested in learning how to learn. I'm very interested in the brain and how memory works. It's very interesting to me. And I've learned a lot about how to learn effectively and correctly so that you can, get the most out of your studying and learning without cramming and using and rereading, highlighting, doing all the ineffective study techniques that everyone does. And there is so much information out there. There is just so much stuff that is out there that I've been trying to consume. There are a top 20%, if you think about it, the 80-20 rule. There is a top 20% that I think I have learned a lot about just the main techniques to effective studying. But there's just so much information out there. There's so many channels, so many videos, so many books. And I love learning. I love, consuming that because it's very interesting to me. And I can't wait to apply all this stuff that I've learned in the upcoming school year. But the thing that I'm frustrated about is the fact that if there's that much information out there, if there's that many studies, that many books, that many videos, that many researchers, and they know all of this stuff, why is it not, first of all, why is it not common knowledge? Why is this not taught in school? Why is it that teachers are just use their own independent methods, and which some of them are just so bad, which hinders the student, when it could be that the teacher is encouraging them to do all these good study techniques and incorporating it into their curriculum. But why is it that I feel like teachers should know this, should know all this stuff. I know more than my chemistry teacher. I know more about how to study and how to do effective learning, more than my teacher who is giving me this material. This should be taught to teachers. When they become a teacher, I don't know what the process is of becoming a teacher, but I doubt, if this was taught, then, they should teach this to teachers. And those teachers should tell it to their students. There should be, a system for that. Because, if people talk about, America's getting dumber, they don't know anything. Do you know why? It's because in school, they're trying to just get past one test, and then they forget everything from the previous chapter and just move on, and they're only trying to get past the test because it's such a negative experience for them, and they don't actually care that much. So just, if you tell them how to actually study and actually remember this stuff, so that not only you can use it for the test, but also just in general, you'll just know this stuff. You'll remember what you learned in school, at least some of it, and not be a dumb degenerate. And also, I feel like if there's such a big problem with, people talk about Gen Z or Gen Alpha, the new generation, being, stupid and, it's doomed or whatever, maybe we should do something about it. Try to make them smarter. Tell them how to study. Tell them how to learn. Make it fun so that they don't, so they don't, hate every single test experience. There's just so much stuff that's wrong in the school system, and no one's trying to do anything about it. They're just random teacher, teach it however you like. It's the student's fault if they don't learn it correctly. They have to go out and look for how to learn. You should be telling them how to learn. Also, like, if the SAT and the ACT are, like, the biggest tests that you need to take, like, in order to get into college, like, you want to have a good score, then why is that not, like, in my classes, in my just general classes, none of my teachers have ever mentioned the SAT or the ACT in regards to, like, you need to know this because you need to remember this for the SAT. Like, that's the thing. That is the test you need to get by. But people don't, like, in class, people learn just to get past the next test. And they cram and they don't actually care about what they're learning. But then, when they get to taking the SAT, they basically relearn everything. There's whole books and whole studying programs just to get past the SAT. You're basically relearning everything that you should already know. Like, it's a whole nother level, which is fine. Obviously, you need to study for a test, but it shouldn't be like that. It should just be, the SAT should basically be a review, right? Like, does that make sense? Am I being dumb? I'm just annoyed that learning how to learn and learning how to study effectively in less time with more effectiveness, like, why is that not common knowledge? Why is that not, like, everyone should know this? Like, these teachers should not just blob information and hope it sticks in their brain, telling them to do a certain note-taking technique or a certain thing just because they feel like that's right, not because they've researched it and not because they've looked at what's actually right with learning, just because they feel like this is probably right, this is probably what we should do. So they tell the student to do that. They just blab knowledge at them, hope it sticks, and then get mad at them for failing a test. Like, what do you want? I guarantee you, no offense, but if my chemistry teacher told us how to study to like a lower deep processing student and told them every single step how you need to study, they would not do well. Let me explain what I just said. My chemistry teacher, basically she told us to reread, highlight, do all that low effective stuff. Class time was only made up of just problems, quizzes. Like, we never did any experiments, we never did any, like, projects. It was just that, basically. Which is not, in hindsight, I hated it. It was terrible. Like, I did not enjoy it. It was not fun. But, you know, quizzes and, like, that kind of testing is pretty effective. Like, active recall and, like, spaced out, which is fine, but, like, she would tell us to, like, if you don't get it, reread it. Oh, she told us to, after every single problem, if you did a problem, check the answer immediately, which is not good. That is not what you need to do. She just, like, said a lot of things like that, and it really frustrated me, because that's when I was first starting to learn about how to learn, so it's just very frustrating. So if she told, I guarantee you, if she told a lower deep processing student, deep processing is like how effective your natural brain is at connecting things and just understanding things. I think. That's how I understand deep processing to be. If it's wrong, then I'll put up a definition. But if someone, I think most students have a lower deep processing, so it's harder to, like, connect things and, like, fully comprehend things, or not fully comprehend, but, like, be able to connect things together and just, like, have a full understanding. I think most people are like that, like average people. I guarantee you that if my chemistry teacher told that student how to study step by step, I don't know how they would do. I don't think it would be that good of a result. I don't know what I'm just trying to say that teachers don't know how learning works. They just spit information and hope that the student knows how to learn. Which I think, as a teacher, it's your responsibility. Teachers want students to get good grades. They want their students to pass their class. So if that's kind of your responsibility, then why don't you tell your students how to learn? Why don't you tell your students? It doesn't have to be like a whole thing. You can just like guide them so that they're not just blindly rereading, cramming for 8 hours, not getting sleep. It's like a domino effect. Like, it keeps going. It gets worse. Like, you don't tell them how to study, so when they go down to study, they're really tired after school, right? And they get home, they're really tired, they don't want to study, but they have to do all their homework that you give them, and then, on top of that, they have to study for their test. They're studying for their test for like 4 hours, just doing non-effective techniques that won't actually help them, but they think it helps them, so they think they know it, but then they're like studying, cramming into the night, get a bad sleep, wake up, take the test, feel super confident, take the test, and realize that they don't actually know anything, get a bad grade, feel super bad about themselves, feel really stupid, and then do it all over again. So the teacher should interrupt that cycle. Like, if it's your responsibility to have your students get good grades, then, like, help them with that process. Don't just, like, spit information and hope it sticks. Like, teachers should, basically, the main point that I'm trying to say that I'm just so frustrated with and think should be a thing is that teachers should know how to learn. Teachers should know how memory works, and they should implement that into their stuff, into their curriculum, and into their teaching methods. Either the teacher should know it, or the student should know it, or both. Both would be better, right? I believe there should be, if I was a teacher, if I become a teacher, I don't think I will, but I think I would have one class, like at the beginning of the course, like first 2-3 classes, first class, one class, where I just talk about the very, very basics, the bare minimum of learning effectively, just to help those students. Because, like, it's like what I talked about, the cycle of despair and bad grades. Like, if you want to prevent that, then, like, maybe you should actually figure out how learning actually works and how that works. So if you're a teacher watching this, then please just learn the very basics of memory and how it works. I have a few videos about it. There's many, many studies and videos out there that talk about it. It's not that hard to find this information, and please try to, like, relay it to your students or incorporate it into your teaching. And if you're a student watching this, which is probably going to be most people that are watching this, do the same thing. Just figure out the basics, the very basics of learning how to learn, and the memory, and how to learn effectively, so that you don't have to go through that cycle that I was talking about. Just like getting bad grades, getting bad sleep, feeling horrible about yourself, hating tests. Like, don't try to not get into that cycle. And then the whole SAT thing, like, I don't know what you do about that. I haven't taken the SAT, so I don't really know how it works, but I have a feeling that it is not a good way to measure how much you know. So, yeah. I just wanted to rant about that because it's something, that is the one thing that I could just rant about forever, basically. It's very frustrating to me. So, yeah. If you found this video interesting, then let me know your thoughts down below. I would really appreciate it if you just let me know, like, if you're a teacher, like, how do you teach your students, and maybe you can, take my advice and learn how memory works and stuff. So yeah, let me know your thoughts if you have the same annoyances, is that a word, that I have. Then yeah, let's have a conversation in the comments. Yeah, that's just something I have always been frustrated about, and hopefully this gets to the right people so that they can learn how to learn. It's not that hard to find the knowledge, so go find the knowledge. Yeah, like the video, subscribe for more learning and self-improvement content,